Please note that the content of this episode has explicit language and is not suitable for underage listeners.
Hi, I'm CJ and I've done phone sex for 23 years. Let's get started. I think this week's topic is going to be role playing. The reason why I chose this is because so many people ask, how do you do role play? How do you get started? It's hard when two people aren't great communicators or open, so that's the first challenge. You've got to get with your partner and see if they actually want to do a role play. That's pretty important that you're both on the same page. So let's say you want to do a role play. I'll give you some examples like I have before, but maybe I'll go a little deeper. We'll see how this goes. Someone calls me and wants to do a role play, and typically what will happen is they will ask me what my favorite role play is. That happens the majority of the time. That's a tricky question for someone like me because if I say my favorite role play is where I'm submissive and the guy is submissive, he will, of course, hang up. So I never say what I prefer because I want them to come up with what they want. They called me. They clearly have something in mind, but they want to check in the temperature, and see if I'm okay with that. So someone calls up and says they want to do a role play where we are neighbors. They're new to the building that we live in. They come over and introduce themselves and we start to have sex. That's a pretty tame role play. So it starts by knock, knock, knock. I open the door. He says, my name is, I'll use John, of course. My name is John. I'm new to the building and I wanted to introduce myself. I offer him to come in. He comes in. We sit on the couch. I offer him a drink. He says yes. We have a little bit of banter. He says I'm pretty. I notice he's got a heart on. He leans in and kisses me and we go on from there. Now you may want to know what that means. So we kiss. We start to take each other's clothes off. I lead him into my bedroom. One of us throws the other one on the bed. We start making out. We're naked. I give him a blowjob. He fingers my pussy. He comes inside me. I roll over and welcome him to the building and he leaves. This is what I call a regular scenario role play. Pretty straightforward, nothing too kinky. It's just that he came up with the idea, I'm your neighbor and I'm new to the building. And then we go from there. It's all very spontaneous because I don't know what he wants and I don't know where it'll go. But you come up with an idea and you play with it. If you want to do a role play in person with your significant other, you have to find out what each of you wants. Don't think it's stupid. It's fun if you're both into it. If you're not both into it, then that's not going to work really unless one of you is going to try to get the other one into it. So you really got to find out if you're both into it and what excites you. So it could be like I said, the neighbor next door, dom sub, teacher student. But again, that doesn't have to mean you're young. If you do a teacher student, it could be a college student and a teacher, that kind of thing. So it could be a number of things. Even someone in a schoolgirl outfit or nurse's outfit, will role play. Whatever turns you both on or what you think will turn you both on, you should experiment that one of you is more dominant than the other and then switch so you can see which you both are more comfortable with. If they both work, great. Otherwise, you'll find out which role better suits each one of you. It's not a definite. You both really might like to be dominant, but today I'll be submissive and tomorrow I'll be dominant. Play with it. It's supposed to be fun. It may seem awkward at first, but it does spice things up, as my callers have said. For me, it is much easier to do a role play than to just get on the phone and suck someone off because at least we're having a little bit of fun. The other thing, too, is that the role play doesn't mean that your partner wants you to be someone else. It's just like acting. Look at it like you're an actor playing a role and you're just having a bit of fun. I keep saying bit of fun, but it is fun if you let go and allow yourself to have some fun. Things can get old. Why not spice it up? It's like dirty talk. So if anyone needs any assistance in role playing as far as how to get started or topics, you can certainly write to me and look it up online on the internet. I'll be happy to help you if you can't find what you're looking for. It really is two willing partners that can be open and not feel judged by their partner and have a little bit of fun. I keep saying a little bit of fun, but it's true. You will absolutely love it as long as you each don't make fun of each other, unless that's what you're into. And if that's what you're into, that's okay too. I would say a majority of my calls are role plays, and I have done all from the one I just wrote about the neighbor to daddy daughter to mother son, step parents, all sorts of things. And yes, some of it is taboo and not right, of course, but very few really want to have sex with their parent. It's just a domination thing, and guys love to hear a girl say daddy. Daddy daughter doesn't necessarily mean daddy. It's an older man who is called daddy. It's not daddy. It's very tricky, the words that are used. Daddy doesn't always mean daddy. Remember, there are sugar daddies, and those guys pay for their sugar babies. So no one has said to me, well, they have once. Have you ever seen your dad naked? And I've said no, and they hung up because that's what they're looking for. And that person is a little broken. They're looking for a broken person who had a horrible childhood, which I did not have. And I only know this because I've been told that. I've been doing this a long time, as you know, as I've stated. I've mentioned that before, 23 years. And I know what people want, what they're looking for, and what they're really asking me. So most of the time, daddy's not really daddy. There you go. However, the daddy thing is, I want you to be daddy's good girl. And it really is a matter of dominance. So I'm 37 on the phone, and if a 60-year-old calls me, and I've said that to you before, he could be my daddy, but he also could be my sugar daddy. And I know this is very tricky and people go, ooh, but if you're looking at it as a dom sub thing, which I do because I won't do any of the real taboo daddy daughter stuff that people want. I do the role play like sugar baby thing. He wants me to dress pretty and he wants to take me out and I'm on his arm and he wants to buy me clothes and he wants to pay for my jewelry, that type of thing. That's what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to clarify that that's what I do. Now, other calls might be different with different women, but for me, I will only do the daddy daughter if I'm my age, maybe 30, but still, he isn't my biological daddy. I just got a call for a role play, funny enough. And the caller said that he rented a room from me, and I hear a noise coming from his room. And I'm supposed to walk in and find him humping the silk pillow. He wants me to come in and start berating him and telling him what a bad boy he is and to stop humping the pillow and that he's humping my silk pillow and how could he do that. And then I'm supposed to put him over my knee and spank him. After I've spanked him for quite a long time, which I did by hitting myself so he could hear it. This is what it sounds like. Just so you get some, sound from it. I'm to take him to the mirror to show him his red spanked bottom. Haven't had anything like that in a while, but for some reason that's exciting to him. He wants to hear me spank him. He wants to see his red bottom, that he's done something bad. He was very pleased and hung up, so you never know what kind of role play you're going to get, or I'm going to get. And you often never know why it's that particular role play. He really was getting into telling me about humping the pillow and the headboard making noise and how I'm supposed to walk in very angry at him and tell him he's a very, very bad boy and that he's going to be punished. And that was his role play for us. Now, it could have been something that happened when he was a child, but that's not for me to ask a question about unless he tells me. And most of the time they don't tell you why. It's just, here's my role play, let's do it. Funny enough, I just had another role play, and this one was interesting. So the caller said that he had an email exchange with a guy where the guy and his girlfriend were looking for a third to participate. So the caller wanted me to play out how this would go, which in my mind sounded very strange because when they want me to be more than one person, it's a little confusing. So this was a real email chain that he read to me, and basically the story is that this couple wanted a third. And they had rules. No kissing. He wasn't able to eat her pussy. This guy that I'm talking to. No kissing of the girlfriend, no eating her pussy. And there were a couple more rules, nothing really important. One of the things that this couple wanted was this guy to participate in licking the boyfriend's cock. This guy, the caller, was hesitant, but he wanted to do the role play. He wanted the role play, so he wanted me to be the girlfriend. Okay. So we started the call with him walking into the hotel room, me taking off his clothes and my clothes, and not involving her boyfriend initially, trying to make him feel comfortable by the two of us having sex first. I'm sucking him, Then I tell him I want him to fuck me. He asks me what my boyfriend is doing, and I say he's sitting there stroking his cock, just watching. Now comes the time where I tell him he and I are going to lick my boyfriend's cock, and he doesn't want to. I said, you know what it's like to be sucked, so you know what to do. He says, no, he doesn't want to. I said, that was one of the rules. Why don't you just stick your tongue out? And he wasn't too fond of that. I said, close your eyes. I will bring it to you. And he made some noise like he was licking something and was not pleased. It sounded like he was like, and hung up. It was totally his role play and his rules. And I think maybe having done it will help him decide if he really wants to go through with the threesome or not. I think that's why he called. He wanted to see how he would react just on the phone. So even though this was his idea, his role play, getting right down to it, he was not happy with the idea of it. Hearing me talk about it and the possibility of actually doing it. He then decided this was not for him, which is totally fine, but he got scared or grossed out and decided against it. So if this is a real email chain that he had where he was going to be a third and he wanted to call a phone sex line to play it out, then maybe having done that will make him decide whether or not he was going to do it. I think if that is the case, then he thought against it because just the thought of licking another guy's cock made him very unhappy. And I don't think he was acting. I think it was real. So a few people have asked me recently, how do you start having phone sex with your significant other? Well, if your significant other is away and you're feeling naughty and you want to have phone sex, you just have to close your eyes, think about them, think about what you like to do to them and what you like them to do to you, and then you start talking. You start telling them that you're kissing them, that you're next to them naked. You're kissing your way down their body to their toes, if you go that far, or just in between their legs. You know what they like, so whether you're licking their balls or licking their penis, tell them you're doing what they like. Don't feel foolish. Just pretend in your mind's eye you're with them. Literally, shut your eyes and imagine you're with them. You grab their hand. You put it between your legs. You tell them you're fingering me while I'm doing this. This is how you have phone sex. If your significant other is at work and you want to do something steamy, don't sext. Call them and tell them that you're horny or you were thinking about them and that you got horny by thinking about them, and tell them all the things you want to do to them. Make them blush. Make them want to talk dirty to you. Again, I keep saying it, it's fun. If you're with a person that's open to that. If they're not open to it, try it anyway. It spices things up. But remember, the way to start is to imagine what you want to do to them, what gives them pleasure, and what gives you pleasure. For example, when somebody calls and tells me they're horny, I have to literally think about what I have to say to them. I don't know them. However, I do know men, and the majority of men like to have their cock sucked. So when somebody calls me and says, oh, I'm horny, what am I supposed to say? I can't start asking them questions like, what do you like? I have to figure it out. So all I can do is start talking about what I think they like. Now, at that point, they will say to me, stick your tongue in my ass, stick your finger in my ass, something like that. And that will direct me to what they really want after I start sucking them. Or if I'm sucking them so well, they'll just get off and hang up. So you need to find out what your partner likes if you don't already know. I hope that helps. If you have additional questions or want to know something more specific, please reach out to me and I'll certainly answer any questions you may have. Phone sex is not difficult. I know people are super shy. They don't know how to talk dirty, but think about the dirty words, coming and cock and or dick, pussy, wet. Think about that. Say, I'm going to sit on your face while I suck your cock. Say things that you want done to you and that what you think your partner will want you to do to them. And just thinking about it and saying it will get them excited and interested. So that's really the key. Think about what you like. Think about what they like, what you've done to them, what they're fantasizing about. I'm tying you up. I'm blindfolding you. Whatever it is, be creative, but don't go so far off that it turns them off. If you know your partner doesn't want their butt touched, licked, touched, anything, then don't go there. But if you know their secret sauce, if you know that they like to be, their balls tickled while you're licking them or sucking them, then you say that. And so try it and see what happens and let me know. So that's all for now. Thank you for listening to Secrets from a Phone Sex Queen. Everything you always wanted to know about phone sex and more. Please reach out to me with your questions and comments at phonesexqueen1@gmail.com. New episodes drop every Monday. Check me out on Facebook at CJ's Podcast and Instagram and TikTok at Phone Queen 1. If you're listening on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new podcast is dropped. Until next time, stay sexy.